Hey guys, I'm just doing my second part to just common traits that that are common between this guy's past targets and I. And I was just ending it off when I was kind of realizing how more heavier this guy was stalking me than in the beginning, like back in 2019. And I reached out to his ex, Kayla LaRock, because I realized if he was doing that to me, who knows how heavy he was stalking her. And I got no response. I didn't get blocked. My message wasn't read. There was posts that were being updated, not a lot, but there was enough to kind of show that someone was behind that account. And this was before I was even really aware that this guy hacked my old accounts and that he was hacking other people. I actually was just under the impression that he was stealing people's photos, because he was, and creating profiles of theirs. I was aware of that, but I had no idea that he was full on taking over people's accounts. So, like I said, I got no response from her or anything. And I did think about it. And I said, if she got ran off the grid and she was well aware of this guy, there's a good chance that she might think I'm him, because he tried so many different ways on how to reach out to me. Like, he's even tried to pretend to be a stalking victim. He's tried to pretend to be like a nail tech, a nurse, someone who's like people who've been through similar things that I've been through, or people who are into things that I'm into right now. As of now, there are newer things that newer things that have happened in the last year, but generally for the most part he does know a few basic things. So, if he did that to me, there's a good chance she's probably aware that he did it to her as well. So, I'm thinking, if I'm pretending to be a stalking, she probably could be thinking I'm him pretending to be a stalking victim. Sorry. And I wouldn't blame her for thinking that, because I would probably think the same thing if I was her. But I did clearly state that, I'm not looking for your phone number. Not looking for your email. I just want you to know, and I just want you to be aware. And that's pretty much it. Like, she can also view it in the message request. There could have been a chance she also read it, but I don't know. Like, if she did believe that I truly was a victim, there would have been a huge chance that she would have reached out and talked to me. I wanted to know about this, because if I was her, I would want to know. But also, if I thought that the person was a catfisher and it was the stalker guy, well, I would just probably ignore it too, and there's really no point of blocking. In the beginning, I was blocking. And this was before I was even aware of how many accounts there were. And as I dug more onto Facebook and, other people's accounts and, reading and all that, and realized how many more accounts were hacked, especially on the pages that I knew he ran. I'm not really sure if he uses AI and he uses bots to control a lot of these accounts. There could be a big chance that he does that too. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. He probably would if he got a hold of, however you do that. I don't even know how to do that. I am starting to read about it just so I'm aware about it, but it's a lot of stuff. It's a whole different side of, like, what I'm learning about on cybersecurity. But besides that, blocking is just, it's really pointless. It doesn't help. Like, you block one account, he'll just appear behind another one. You block another account, it's just pointless. Like somebody said, you're just putting more time and effort. Even though it is just a simple little click. It's just time consuming. It's just less time that I don't need to use. But going into that, after I messaged her and got no response, and then after time went on and I learned about the hacked accounts and learned about him hacking my old accounts and how he tried to hack my newer ones, I realized that wasn't her. And, that time period after he catfished me, he must have felt really, really stupid, because I did make him feel stupid. I said, "You're really catfishing me after 3 years?" I said, "I always know it's you. I was screwing with you back." I think it was just a couple days that we were kind of just talking here and there, and I was just playing along just to see how far this guy would push things. And I let the cat out of the bag, and I said, "I knew it was you the whole time. I'm not no fucking idiot." I said, I said, "You didn't even sound like yourself, and I still knew it was you." And I said, it doesn't matter how many years go by, how many accounts you use, how many times you reach out to me, and others reach out to me. I said, I will always know it's you. And like, that's what I'm saying about my sixth sense. I think if I didn't have my sixth sense, like just the things that I can sense, I don't think I would truly know it's him behind the mass accounts that I've dealt with, that have reached out to me. That was him. And around that time, I must have made him feel stupid. And, he must have realized, like, I don't know if he worked for a long time to create that profile and the other ones, spent time, like, will go back periodically to update posts and add photos and have other accounts comment on it, have all this built up posts and stuff saved up so that when I did eventually view it, when he did try to catfish me, he'd have something to fall back on. If I checked the profile, it would look like a real profile. Well, there's a good chance he did all that, and I figured it out within like seconds, screwed around with him, and then laughed at him and made him feel stupid and told him, like, all your work just literally went down the drain. And then he got an even more stupid idea and decided to hack my friends and family, only for me to find out anyways. And not just like, he might have rapidly hacked them and fooled me for a bit, but the amount of time it took for me to dismantle what he was up to was it was quick. It was so quick. And he was probably pissed. Like, he's probably so angry, and I don't think he was ever planning for me to find out. He was not expecting me to find out or for me to know. He probably was hoping that I truly thought that those were my friends and family that I was talking to. And even now, he's probably still sitting there thinking like, oh, I can still convince her, let time go by, let time go on, and, she'll believe it. And it's too late. I have to literally pretend every single person on my list is hacked or fake, even if I know they are or they aren't, just to make sure I'm adding who I know I'm adding online, and this guy doesn't get access again. And, and I have things set in place that in case he does hack me or my friends and family, we have backup plans. That's not online or anything. It's all been talked about and it's all been thought out. So this doesn't happen again. And, like going back to when he catfished me and I made him feel stupid, he probably purposely retreated back. And like I said, he got his huge idea to, start, hacking family and acquaintances. Maybe then he probably had a few acquaintances hacked. There could have been a good chance that he stole some of their photos and he was just sitting on my account for so long. And then, that's how he watched my relationships and my posts and seen who commented the most and watched those people and then, hacked them. But he purposely didn't reach out to me for like a good 2 years at all. Like nothing, not from any fake account. He probably did from friends and family that he was pretending to be, but there was no weird, obvious, dumb, funny business that he would try and do. Like his excessive amounts of trying to be men, trying to reach out to me. Like for some reason, he thinks I'm just this like desperate person who wants all these men or something. I don't really know. And that's what I'm saying is like, I don't know what kind of women this guy dealt with, besides his stalking victims. He must have dealt with some women who are really naive and who really got off on male attention and, who really needed it, who absolutely like needed their fix of having men, talk to them and reach out to them, because that's the way he does it. I don't think it's a matter of like him trying to bother me because he knows I'll delete it or I'll just ignore it. I think he truly thinks that like I want that. And because he met me in a period when, I was looking for a relationship, I was looking, and, since he's hacked all my accounts, he's still chasing after a person that no longer exists at all. He's chasing after, like I said before, an unevolved, naive, ignorant version of myself who was a lot more immature, who did look at the world a lot differently. And that could be exactly what he's doing to his past victims as well, is he could be doing the same thing, they could be total different people too. And, he's trying to chase after an older version of them as well. Anyways, there'll be another part for this. I'll just go into more depth about the victims.